Hello students, welcome back. So far we have discussed the introduction as well as agrometeorology part of these principles of agronomy or introductory agronomy class. Now today we will start the influence of climate on crops. So if we are growing a crop, there are several biotic and abiotic factors influence the growth and productivity of the crop. Okay, so the growth and productivity of crop depends on the initial or genetic factor, the internal factor or genetic factor, what type of variety we are growing, which type of crop we are growing. That then second thing is our management factor, what kind of management we are following in the farm, and next one is the climate or environment. In environment factor, there are soil environment or the edaphic environment as well as the aerial environment. If we consider the microclimate of the crop that is affected by soil environment as well as aerial environment. In soil environment, that is otherwise known as edaphic factor, that is soil factor of soil that influencing the crop growth, that is edaphic factor. Then in aerial environment, we have like solar radiation, temperature, relative humidity, whatever we have discussed in the previous lectures. Those weather elements also affect the crop growth. So in this particular lecture we will discuss how these weather elements they are affecting the crop growth and productivity. So stability of a crop to a particular region is the function of climate. Okay, so how stable the crop production is, that is the function of climate. So what is the climate, what is the weather status in that particular location? More than 50% variation in crop is due to climate. Okay, more than 50% of variation in a crop, that is due to climate. So what are these climate or weather elements? These are solar radiation, temperature, rainfall, relative humidity, wind velocity. These are called weather elements and they affect the plant growth and production significantly. Expansion or canopy and root system expansion, if it will expand, then more interception of solar radiation will be there, more extraction, better extraction of the nutrient will be there, and better extraction of the water will be there, which leads to significant improvement or significant higher production and dry matter accumulation. Okay, production and dry matter accumulation. So we want our plant or crop, whatever we are growing, so that the canopy as well as root system expansion should be proper. Now let's discuss how solar radiation is affecting the crop growth. Okay, so solar radiation. Solar radiation, it has significant influence on seed germination, that positive photoblastic seed, if you know. So seeds are categorized into three types. One is photoblastic seed, non-photoblastic seed, and negative photoblastic seed. The seeds which are positive photoblastic in nature, they require solar radiation for their germination. Negative photoblastic seeds, they require darkness. That means they if there will be solar radiation on this type of seed, they will not germinate. Non-photoblastic seeds, they do not depend. I mean, they are not influenced by solar radiation. Then leaf expansion also affected by solar radiation. Growth of stem and shoot, flower, fruiting, then thermal condition necessary for physiological function, all these are influenced by solar radiation. So if we'll see there are if we'll consider solar radiation, there are four distinct categories. One is thermal effect of radiation. More than 70% radiation that is falling on atmosphere, that is converted into heat energy, and that heat energy is used for transpiration, regulating temperature of leaf, and etc. Then photosynthetic effect. If we'll look at solar radiation, there are different wave bands are present. So one band, that is 400 to 700 nanometer, that is called photosynthetically active radiation band. So around 28% energy is used in photosynthesis. Then periodic effect, that means long day, short day, and all those things. So during flowering, how the flowering behavior is affected by solar radiation, based on that photoperiodic effect. Regulator and solar radiation act as a regulator and control of growth and division or development and photoperiodic effect. Then some other effects are there by solar radiation on crop growth, that is influence on assimilation of nutrient, dry matter distribution, etc. Radiation up to 0.25 micrometer, up to 0.25 micrometer, that is harmful for most of the plant, and these are called UV radiation or ultraviolet radiation. Okay, ultraviolet radiations are harmful for plant. So if you will say, sir, why not below, like you mentioned, less than 0.1 micrometer. So these are actually cosmic rays and all those short wave, very short wave radiation, which are being filtered during or converted into long wave radiation, up to like UV ray, visible radiation or infrared radiation, when they're moving inside our earth atmosphere. Okay, then 0.3 to 0.55 micrometer, that is having photoperiodic effect. So initial band of the visible or visible radiation, that is having photoperiodic effect. Then 0.40 to 0.70 micrometer, that is for help in photosynthesis, and this band is known as photosynthetically active radiation. Okay, 0.4 to 0.7 micrometer or 400 to 700 nanometer. Now more than 0.74 micrometer, that is having thermal effect, and these are infrared radiation. Now near infrared radiation is helpful for seed germination as well as dormancy of seed. Near infrared radiation is helpful for seed germination as well as dormancy of seed. Photosynthetic effect. In photosynthetic effect, these are having significant effect on enzyme activity like PEP carboxylase, RUBP carboxylase. PEP carboxylase is helpful in C4 plant, and Rubisco is helpful for C3 plants for photosynthesis. Then pigmentation like chlorophyll formation, 0.3 to 0.338 micrometer, it is having significant impact on chlorophyll formation. Leaf characteristics, leaf angle, leaf width or density, then leaf exposure, orientation of the leaf, that is also affected by solar radiation. Then growth. So solar radiation intensity, if we want to measure the solar radiation intensity or effect of solar radiation in the crop canopy and canopy coverage, we can link that into solar radiation. So this is called Beer's law, and it is having you can know how much solar radiation is in uh, like in interception happens, or how much solar radiation transmission happens in the crop canopy. So I is equal to I0, that is the solar radiation intensity at the top of the canopy, into e to the power minus KLAI. LAI is your leaf area index, K is the extinction coefficient. So you can know, so suppose this is a plant, or this is the canopy. Suppose here what is the solar radiation? I0. What is the solar radiation intensity here? You can know by putting this in the formula. So extinction coefficient is 0.65. These value are important, so you have to remember this. For rice it is 0.65, for maize it is 0.84, for sorghum it is 0.70. So extinction coefficient is basically indicating how efficiently the solar radiation is being trapped, or how efficiently it is being utilized or distributed in the crop canopy. Now, low light intensity or cloudy condition during flowering, it reduces flowers and pegging in groundnut. There are several research activity where the research are being conducted in low light condition, and to see what is the influence of low light condition, or you know why we should conduct research for low light. Because see, now due to global dimming effect or due to pollution, there is global dimming which obstruct the intensity of the solar radiation in the crop canopy. So we are trying our best to see what is the impact of this, pollution and the global dimming effect on different crops. So when there is low light effect or cloudiness in the flowering and pegging, in groundnut, that is flowering and pegging is inhibited. Then spikelet sterility is increasing under low light condition. Grain yield also decrease around 25 to 60% under low light condition or cloudy condition, if that is happening in the flowering time. More solar radiation indicates more rice yield. There is a direct relationship. Now photoperiodic effect. Photoperiodic effect means, so it is the relationship between the flowering and the solar radiation or day length. That means for how long in a day intense solar radiation is falling on the earth surface or on the crop canopy. So photoperiodic effect, based on photoperiodic effect, there are different types of plants like long day plant, short day plant, day neutral plant. So long day plants are those plants which require more than 14 hours of day length for floral initiation, flower initiation. For example, wheat, barley, oat, these are long day plant, and most of the temperate crops they are long day plants. Now short day plants they require less than 10 hours in a day for floral initiation or flower initiation. Agar if the solar radiation or duration of solar radiation in a day is going beyond 10 or 12 hours, then there will be no flowering. So here rice, sorghum, sugarcane, these are short day plant, and these are mostly the tropical crops are belongs to short day crop or short day plant. Then day neutral plant, cotton, sunflower, buckwheat, these are example of day neutral plant. Okay, so these plants are basically the quantitative day length plants. So difference between quantitative and qualitative day length plant is that in qualitative day length plant, if there is a short day qualitative short day plant, if the day length is in the daytime, if it is getting more than 12 hours, then it will not flower at all. Okay, for qualitative means it will flower or not, but quantitative means it will reduce the flowering. Suppose 100% flowering should have happened, if there is not the day length condition is happening, so the flowering will be reduced, it will reduce up to 10 to 30% or 50% like that. But qualitative long day short day means that will not flower at all. Okay, so qualitative, as I have mentioned, don't flower, not adequate day length. Quantitative means flower but delayed, or it will the flowering will be less. Day length is related to especially latitude and position of the sun. Now, estimating the photothermal unit and growing degree day. Estimating the photothermal unit and growing degree day is more accurate than growing degree day, is more accurate for assessing the date of sowing and harvesting. See, phototherm previously we used to use growing degree day or heat unit concept, and we will discuss in detail about it. So growing degree day is basically the so there is a base temperature. Base temperature means below which the crop growth will be stopped. Okay, below which there will be no crop growth, below the temperature which, suppose let's say temperate crop like barley, oats, then wheat. So there the best temperature is around 5 degrees Celsius. So if the temperature of the atmosphere is less than 5 degrees Celsius, the plant growth will not happen. So that is base temperature, right? Now another one is mean temperature, that is T max plus T mean divided by 2, that is mean temperature. So if we'll accumulate, if we'll count, so suppose today the base temperature is, let's base temperature will be constant. For tropical plant it is around 10 degrees Celsius, and for temperate crop it is around 5 degrees Celsius. So base temperature is constant and the mean temperature varies from day to day. So if the base temperature, if the mean temperature is the accumulation of mean temperature, suppose today the mean temperature is greater than base temperature, if it will be reversed then there will be no growth. So if the mean temperature is greater than base temperature and we are adding those base temperature or those difference, and we are getting after certain value the crop the harvesting is happening. Okay, so that value is known as growing degree day. Okay, so growing degree day is different for different crops, but in growing degree day, along with only temperature is taken into consideration as in photothermal unit. For in photothermal unit we are adding, we are multiplying along with the difference of growing the mean temperature and base temperature, we are also multiplying the day length. Okay, so there the accuracy of getting the harvesting time, that will be more accurate. Okay, so that is here we are trying to say. So photothermal unit, it is used after growing degree day, so that is more accurate for estimating the sowing, assess sowing date as well as harvesting. Photo period sensitive varieties are season bound. Okay, you have to stick to the season. Those varieties which are photo period sensitive, you have to be stick to the season. Okay, photo insensitive variety are period bound. Okay, so they are mostly preferred in multiple cropping. Now photosensitive variety of rice, you can find example GEB24. Photo insensitive variety IR8 Joya, these are photo insensitive variety of rice. Now utilization of solar energy, if we'll see, so the amount of solar radiation that is coming to the earth surface, how much solar radiation is utilized. 75% is absorbed by crop canopy, and 40% of the solar radiation that is coming under PAR, photosynthetically active radiation, So 75 into 40 by 100, that is 30%. Actually, that can be taken up by the crop for photosynthetic activity or for photolysis and all those things. Carbon dioxide fixation efficiency is 20%. So 30 out of 30, the 20% is around 6%. So this is theoretical value of the solar radiation efficiency, use efficiency. But the actual solar radiation utilization efficiency for C4 crop, if you will see unlimited resource, if it is available, then around 3%, that is half. And for field condition, it is 1 to 2%. Okay. If you will talk about C3 crop, then it is below that. Okay. So total solar radiation efficiency we will talk about around 1% or 1 to 2% in field condition. Now, utilization of solar radiation efficiency, why it is important? It is the basic principle of crop increasing in crop yield to harvest maximum solar radiation. If we can harvest maximum solar radiation at particular time period, then we can increase the yield. Okay, so that's for doing that, for utilizing or trapping maximum solar radiation, we need to go for optimum sowing time, optimum spacing, optimum plant population we have to maintain, and a timely resource application we have to do, right? Now, what is source sink relationship? Source means where the plant cook the food, that means in chlorophyll. Sink means where it is being accumulated. Okay, source sink. So basically fruit and different parts of the plant, there the photosynthesis is accumulated, so that is called sink. Source means where it is being generated. For sink limited crop like rice, wheat, most of the cereals, they are sink limited, rice, wheat. Solar radiation in sufficient quantity is necessary during the period of formation of storage organ. That means from PI to flowering, or that is panicle initiation to flowering, most of the solar radiation or solar radiation intensity should be required. Okay, if there will be cloudy condition during that period, then there will be shriveled grains or grain formation cannot be, or sink cannot be produced properly. For source limited crop, solar radiation is critical during grain filling stage. For source limited crop, solar radiation is critical during grain filling stage. Then conversion efficiency. What is that? Conversion efficiency means how much calorie of energy required for 1 gram dry matter production. So conversion efficiency is, this value is important. You have to remember this, around 3700 to 4100 calorie per gram dry matter production. Per gram dry matter production, 3700 to 4100 calorie is required, and it is decreases with age of the crop. Solar energy utilization is higher in morning and decrease towards noon and better in cloudy days than clear sky. Okay. Now, uh, so we have discussed about what is the impact of solar radiation on crop growth. Now we'll discuss about the impact of temperature on crop growth. Okay. So if when we are talking about temperature, in mind we must think of the cardinal temperature. Okay. And cardinal temperature consists of minimum temperature, maximum temperature, and optimum temperature. Cardinal temperature consists of minimum temperature, maximum temperature, and optimum temperature. Okay. So for cool season crop, the minimum temperature for cool season crop, like those temperate crop or rabi season crop, you can say, the minimum temperature is 0 to 5 degrees Celsius, maximum temperature is 30 to 38 degrees Celsius, and optimum temperature is 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. Okay. For warm season crop, the minimum temperature should be 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, maximum temperature is 45 to 50 degrees Celsius, and optimum temperature is 30 to 38 degrees Celsius. The rate of increase in reaction for every 10 degrees Celsius increase in temperature is called quotient 10 or Q10. What is Q10? It is frequently asked in competitive exam. So what is Q10? That is called quotient 10, and that is the rate of increase in reaction for every 10 degree increase in temperature. So Q10 is equal to rate of reaction at T plus 10 degrees Celsius divided by rate of reaction at T degrees Celsius. Optimum temperature for net carbon dioxide uptake, it is around 24 degrees Celsius in wheat and barley. More than this, increased stomata and mesophyll resistance more than 24 degrees Celsius. So this carbon dioxide uptake, it increases the stomatal and mesophyll resistance. So when there is resistance of mesophyll and stomatal resistance, there is less carbon dioxide uptake and less photosynthesis you can find, you can observe. Okay. So basically we are trying to say is more than 24 degrees Celsius will reduce the photosynthesis. Now, influence of temperature on growth. Influence of temperature on growth. So it affect the biochemical reaction. It affect the uptake of carbon dioxide. Affects the enzymatic activity, production of chlorophyll, leaf emergence, leaf expansion. So all these things will be affected. Then growth, substance or photosynthesis or dry matter production will affect. Then germination, flowering, spikelet development or germination will be affected. So yield will ultimately go down. Now we were already discussed about growing degree day. So it is also known as heat unit, okay, and it is basically relationship between growth duration and temperature. So how long the crop will grow uh, and temperature. What is the temperature? That means the difference between mean temperature and base temperature, and what is the impact of the accumulation of this difference on crop growth and development, and a relationship on the growth duration, okay. And it is direct and linear relations between growth and temperature, which is uh, assumed, and it is wrong, okay. There is no direct relations between temperature and the duration of the crop. So you are saying ki if the temperature will be higher, it will complete the life cycle in so very short period. That is very, that might happen in some cases, but it is not a theory, okay. Now growing degree day is equal to summation of T max plus T mean by 2, that is T mean temperature, okay, minus base temperature. Base temperature we have also already discussed, below which there will be no growth. For rice it is 10 degrees Celsius, for wheat it is 4.5 degrees Celsius, for maize it is 10 degree, and palm millet it is 10 degree. So you can see the temperate crop and rabi season crop it is around 4.5 to 5 degrees Celsius, and for tropical crops it is around 10 degrees Celsius. So it predict the harvest time and optimum date of sowing. Optimum date of sowing and harvest time, it is important. Limitation is assumption, as it assumes linear relationship, which is actually curvilinear. More importance to temperature, but it is having detrimental effect also. Diurnal variation is not taken into consideration in GDD. No allowance for temperature and growth stages. Okay, so to eliminate some limitation of growing degree day, we have started using photothermal unit. That is summation of growing degree day into length of day or night. Now, in extreme temperature condition, high temperature stress happens, or extreme temperature means it can either low temperature stress, it can either high temperature stress. During high temperature stress, there is less nitrate reductase activity, less protein content, less nutrient uptake, less shoot growth, less pollen development. In low temperature stress as well, less cell development and elongation, less photosynthesis, less water transportation, less growth, and more spikelet sterility you can observe. Now let's discuss about the effect of rainfall, how it is impacting the crop growth and development. Now rainfall means less precipitation. Rainfall is a form of precipitation. If rainfall is going down or going higher, that means precipitation is less or higher. Okay. Study of Study of rainfall over longer period is known as rainfall climatology. It helps in understanding the amount of rainfall in a particular location, the intensity of rainfall during the growth cycle, the distribution of rainfall, and distribution is much more important. A dry spell of more than 20 to 14 days in alpficial and more than 15 to 20 days in vertical, because vertical can hold water for longer period, is called critical for crop. If it is going beyond that, suppose in alpficial, if the dry spell is more than 10 to 14 days, and in vertical it is more than 15 to 20 days, then there might be drought condition. Rainy day. What is rainy day? Rainy day meteorology. There is two type of rainy day: meteorological rainy day and crop rainy day. If the rainfall is more than 2.5 millimeter per day, that is meteorological rainy day, and if it is more than 5 millimeter per day, that is called crop rainy day. If the CV of rainfall is higher, then more variability, less stability of rainfall, and more dependability of the rainfall. Okay, or you can say from your point of view, farmer point of view, they should not depend on rainfall that much. Okay. Now it depends on length of growing season. That is the period between germinating rain and end season, when profile moisture is reduced to actual evaporation by potential evaporation is equal to 0.5. Okay, that is length of growing season. So what is the influence of rainfall? Rainfall, the influence of rainfall, it is having significant impact on nutrient management, weed management, insect pest management, disease, lodging, product quality. So if there will be intense rainfall for longer period, there will be increase in disease and pest attack, there will be lodging problem, there will be product quality will be affected. Then relative humidity, that is the percentage of you know moisture in the atmosphere, basically in layman language, that is having direct relationship with water relation, leaf growth, photosynthesis, pollination, and pollen viability, pest disease, and grain yield. Okay, what is the impact of wind then? More transpiration loss, more desiccation if the wind is hot, more carbon dioxide uptake, alter hormonal balance. Okay, so these are some of the brief discussion about what is the effect of weather elements on crop growth and development. In the next lecture, we will discuss about growth and development of the crop in detail about photosynthesis, respiration. Detail means we are briefing out all those context. And if you want detailed lecture, you can let me know in the comment section. And if you want to study in depth, then you can refer to any textbook, okay, reference book, yeah, if you want. So, you just keep revising and you just keep learning, keep growing. Be consistent with your studies, and discipline is much more important. So see you in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day. Bye bye.